Thanks for checking out Symphony on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
Well, it was a welcome move, however belated. And I'm not one of those who have been very enthusiastic about it by the time it was done. And I know the man who did it, it's not in the spirit we wanted that should be done. He just did it to catch, to more or less pacify those who have been struggling for it.
To pacify people that have struggled for it? You mean it didn't mean anything to Nigeria that June 12 has been declared?
No, the man who did it, I'm talking about the man who did it. I mean, whether, when we are struggling for a thing and it is achieved by somebody who will be, oh yes, this is what we have been fighting for. But somebody who says that you say you want it, that's why you have it. Because what has happened after declaring it a public holiday, recognizing him, we call it a democracy day. Are we democratic? Are we living in a democratic society? Has the hope for that day been achieved? When you say you are celebrating Democracy Day and the policemen are in the street to chase people for demonstration. One of the elements of democracy is free speech, free association, the right to demonstrate. This one is lacking. And the man whose regime has been dominated with lack of obedience to court orders, no rule of law. So when people like me who fought for it and who knew the origin of the democracy that we fought for, we just take it for what can we do? Let's just thank him for him saying he recognizes the yearnings of the people.
All right, Chief. Let me get you clearly. Are you saying that when you reflect on how the country is at the moment, that the struggle which you were part of, do you think it has paid off for you as a person and for others who were in the struggle with you?
Not at all, not at all. You can see the way I'm talking, I'm expressing, I'm just saying, well, to those who didn't know what the struggle was about, they felt satisfied, they were jumping, celebrating. Even those who colluded with him to form the government and doing the opposite thing of what they promised, say, oh, yes, they have done it. As if that is all, as if that's the essence. He did it in word, not in spirit, not in action. All the actions, all the deeds of his administration has been anti-democracy. And that is known to you people too.
Okay.
Is it democrat now? You know how many times you have been fined for expressing your view on AIT and public has to come to your grave? And now, all the press, both print and electronic, you censor yourself because you don't know what Dai Mohammed will call hate speech. That is not democracy. We are not free. We are under a dictatorship.
All right.
And dictatorship.
But does it mean that there was no lesson learned from the June 12, 1993 election and the struggle that came after it? Is it that Nigeria has not learned any lesson at all, or have we learned a bit?
The people have been ruling us ever since, particularly since 2015. It has been cause for, it has been cause for mourning. Is it all that we fought for? Is it all that I was detained for? Is it all I went into prison for? So those of you who were born or who experienced military regime, you will be jumping that, yes, there's a measure of something. For those of us who knew what we had before independence and during independence and before this regime, We only go to the corner and cry. To me now, we only have to pray to God. We are in the hands of God. Only God can save us. To go into the heart of Buhari, to give us peace in our own time. You can you imagine the president of the country being in combative motion, combative mood against the subject instead of reconciling? Why are you crying? Why are you demonstrating? Why are you doing this violent thing? What is the problem? Say you do that, I show you Pepe. That's the father of the nation. Who doesn't call his children and say, come, what is your problem? It's unfortunate.
Pa
You're in the hands
Adebanjo,
of God.
you do that, I show you Pepe, that the president is credited to have said. He was actually referring to those he called people who are perpetrating trouble, not Nigerians who do not make a problem, don't you think?
No, he was referring to what is happening in the Southeast. Don't deceive us. I mean, he can deceive others, not me. Not me. Those who are even demonstrating or even destroying government property in the Southeast, why? You are talking of the action, of the reaction. You are not talking of the action that causes the reaction. They are bitter. They feel excluded. They feel they are not getting what they should get from their father. And it's a way of demonstrating their bitterness. He knows it, and you and I know. Don't let everybody pretend. If you say he does everything, all right. What about the question of the southern governors saying open grazing is banned? And he now openly said that he's passing a law to contradict that, because that was not the same culture of his own Fulani ethnic group. Is that the language of the president of the country? If it's not the president of Fulani or the president of the North or the president of Katsina, is that the president of Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, and everybody? That is the basis on which he was elected. It's not the language of father and son. If the father knows that the son is angry, is annoyed, even the prodigal son who spent all sorts of things, by the time he repented and came home, the father welcomed him. Is that what the Buhari is doing? I have said it, unfortunately. President Buhari is the number one enemy of Nigerian unity. And we should all pray for God, to kindly change his mind, to go into his heart, to be more human, to show mercy to his subjects. If you see the way the policemen were attacking demonstrators, I wish the army was aggressive against the Boko Haram, not against the subjects you have to protect, not against the subjects you have to be kind to protect life and property. Gentlemen, I mean, to many of you, the Independence Day of Democracy can mean everything. Not to me. And I know what I fought for, what I suffered for. Even at the time when Buhari was in the primary school. So he cannot, when he talk of the United Nigeria, I have a stake in the United Nigeria than himself. And what he's doing is making me unhappy, because all my friends in the north, all the Fulanis who are our friends, who are like Dangote and others, who are improving the economy of the country, he's trying to change the narrative of our complaint. We are talking of Fulani ass men who are raping our women, who are murdering, who are kidnapping. Let them go. You liken that to spare part sellers. How does it come to? The spare part sellers, did they rape? Did they kill? Did they destroy farms? You now want a private enterprise to dominate other people because that is your business. We all know Buhari has 500 cows. You have to protect it, not at the expense of your subject, not at the expense of other ethnic groups that don't have that culture. That is why we talk in a federation of multi-ethnic, multicultural, multi-religious. We have a federation so that we can develop at our own space. So you pray to God. You call on our religious organizations. Pastor Depo, the old Archbishop and the imams, to pray to God, to go into the heart of Buhari, to please look unto us with mercy, and not this aggressiveness, not this impunity with which is ruling us.
Chief, you've talked about the insecurity in the land. You've referred to, the killer herdsmen committing atrocities in different parts of the country, and you've blamed the president. I don't know whether you listened to the president last week and even in his Democracy Day speech. He acknowledged these challenges himself. Even his home state, Katsina, is unlivable. The governor of that state has come out to say the level of insecurity in that state has gotten to a level they've never seen before. There's been people who have been displaced from their homes and living in IDP camps. So the president himself is affected by the crisis facing the nation. And he has expressed that in his Democracy Day speech and in the interviews he granted last week. Doesn't that show that the man himself is concerned about what's happening across the country?
Yeah, that was the Democracy Day. What did he do before then? When he was negotiating with bandits. So when he was when Gumi could see the bandits to get how much ransom to pay.
No, the president wasn't negotiating with bandits.
Hold on, Mister. You have said your own, let me say my own.
Go ahead, sir.
You are saying what he has said now, after the harm has been done. How many people have been killed in the north and in those places before he talked? Was it how many people have died in Katsina, in the place where children have been abducted? What did he do? It was so bad. The example was so bad that even his own state, the governor was complaining. It shows his incompetence. It shows his lack of strategy. And when we said it's the Fulani people, he said, no, why do you say Fulani? He said the Fulani from the north. Okay, to me, that is not serious. Those are foreign people coming to our land. How did they come in? You are the president in charge of life, to save life and property. How did they come in? You are in charge of immigration. You are in charge of customs. And these people came in, do havoc to your subject. Is it because they are foreigners, that's why you can't arrest them? Is it because they are foreigners, that's why you can't say anybody carrying arms to a husband is criminal? Can you tell me what he has said to tell the husband carrying arms that it is illegal? What has he said against them generally before he was talking on the Democracy Day? You are citizens of this country. Even on autumn of Makodi went to him that he knows the people who are molesting him, who are killing him. They are making like, here you, please come and help me. What did he tell him? He said, go and make friends with your neighbors, with your killers, with your murderers. My dear, let us all be serious and tell Mr. President that he knows there are problems, he should help us to solve it. This propaganda, this all sort of saying things that are not real. You should stop it.
Pa Adebanjo, you seem to be pointing accusing finger at the president alone. But we have a federal government, we have federating units, we've got the governors as well. It appears as if the government at the subnational level are just like crying babies now. We heard the governor of Zamfara State almost weeping yesterday during his broadcast on the Democracy Day, where he said that despite the peace effort that is being made in Zamfara, the people, about 45 people were killed on Friday, just a day to Democracy Day. And also we had other governors also crying. In fact, one paper captured it today saying governors are wailing over insecurity problem. Are they kind of handicapped as to what to do to secure their region or their state?
Very much. If you know all the cry, that's why I say to pray to God. Are the governors, have they got power over the security of the area? They are brought to be the chief security officer of the state under these obnoxious imposed constitution, which we are crying that should be changed. They haven't got power over the instrument of implementation. If the governors have been autonomous and have been fully equipped, have been fully empowered, they are only chief security officers of their state in name, not in action. They have no control over the police. They have no control over the instrument of security. They have to refer to Abuja. That complaint has been on. It is lack of that capability of federal government to take care of them that led the formation of this regional community of Aroteku, which they also render helpless without, by saying they can't carry arms. And it's enjoying it. You can't do the job and don't allow people who are in charge to do the job. Give them state police to take care of themselves. You now claim to be a better protector of a house, better than the owner of the house. We are in an abnormal country. Or we are being ruled by abnormal people. People who refuse to understand our problem. And that's why I say, people say we are just debating Mr. President. Mr. President is not interested in this country. That is why I say he wants to Fulanize Nigeria, and everything that he's doing goes towards that. And I tell you, please listen. I say he wants to Fulanize, I say no. Okay. He told us that the Fulani people who are armoring us are not local Fulani. That was his word. But they come here, he can't arrest them. And they will see them driving away the local Fulani and non-Fulani from their land, putting their flag there. What are you doing? When they drive you away from your ancestral home, and the bandits to protect it doesn't do anything, they do it in Niger, in Nasarawa, in Adamawa, in Borno, in everywhere. You can't do anything. But if it is the local people who are protesting, your armed forces will be on the alert, will be effective, will be killing us right, left, and center. God will save us from Buhari. I have no doubt about that.
All right, Chief. I know that even before last week, the president had given an order, or a shoot-at-sight order against anybody carrying AK-47. That was a couple of months ago. He gave that directive.
My dear, that's part of the thing. I'm trying to kill a fly with a gun. Shoot-at-sight order. After what? You know many people have died? And shoot-at-sight is not right in a democracy. I said the man is not a Democrat.
But if the president directs...
Mister, when you put up this question, let people tell you their own side.
Yes, I just want to give you something to follow up with, Chief. I'm asking if there are people carrying AK-47 and committing mayhem. You've described the situation in Makurdi and in Benue State and other parts of the country. And the president decides and gives a directive and says, shoot at anybody that carries an AK-47 destroying people. Is that not the right action to take?
No, that's undemocratic. What is the how do you avoid somebody wants to kill the opposition? I am not safe under that law. That's my own view. Kill aside. A dead man doesn't talk. To me, it's an attempt where they is trying to kill the iPod and kill people. And we say, well, when they kill a member of the opposition or the children of the opposition, they say, oh, they are carrying arms. They are dead. Who is to say no? Who is to argue no? That is too much in a democracy. That's my point. You don't do that in democracy. If you are effective, you catch them. This is in our own land, and say they are foreigners. Shoot aside. By the time you shoot, who do you know whether the man is carrying AK-47 or not? And not those who are opposed to you. I don't buy that. I don't buy it.
All right, Pa Adebanjo, what would you have, or what would you rather expect the government of the day to begin to do now if shoot on sight order wouldn't work because it's undemocratic? What exactly should the government of the day be doing? Because the way the situation is going is escalating in a very alarming order.
Thank you very much. If today he empowers the state governors to be the chief security officer of their state, it will stop. It will stop. And we have been saying that over the years. That's why is it hesitating to give them full power to control their state?
Now, Pa Adebanjo, giving them full power will mean tinkering with the Constitution, which the National Assembly is doing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, my dear. You are now going back to what I said, only God can save us from Buhari.
No, because the president cannot just empower the governors to be chief security officers in their various states if it is not constitutional as well.
That is why we say the Constitution is a fraud. That is why we are claiming that the Constitution should be scrapped. You people should listen to those of us who are shouting, change the Constitution. All the problems we are having is based on the Constitution. It is this obnoxious Constitution that made Buhari the most powerful president in the whole world. You listen. When it comes out and I say, no, if anybody does it, I kill him. That's when you listen. The root cause of the thing is the Constitution. All these evil things that you are complaining of, here you are now, you say, well, why doesn't the state governors do it? The state governors don't empowered under the Constitution. Unlike the federal Constitution which we had at independence. And my dear, we say let us go back if you don't understand. And you see, I am at a loss to describe this government. Because they changed the narrative. When we are saying this is what we want, they say, no, that's not it. We are talking of a constitution we agreed to. And we say clearly that this constitution, we don't know about it. It was the military that imposed it in 1966. You pretend as if you don't know. You are now asking me now that, well, the constitution does not allow this. That is what we are saying. We didn't make this constitution, and you call us federal. Are we federal? This is a unity government. This is the cause of all the trouble. It is the constitution that makes you to feel that you can be so antagonistic to an ethnic group and behave in a way that they don't exist. It is this constitution that you make, which we say we don't want, which everybody now says change. And you say, no, you are not going to change it. He is asking us to change the constitution. We are saying it's a fraud through the instrumentality of the National Assembly, which is a product of the fraud.
All right, Chief.
You see the logicality? No, say all right, let us respect to our people. When they are giving all this propaganda, let us say it. We are not fools. We are all well educated. This country consists of lawyers, SARS, professors. And you come and draw a wool across our eyes, as you can see. All because you have all the architecture of power in your hand.
All right. Chief.
That is the root of the matter.
Yes. We get your point. But the president has also said that it is not within him to change the constitution. That you have a national legislature whose responsibility is to tinker with the constitution or change the constitution as the case may be. And this national legislature, the National Assembly, has representatives from different parts of the country. Is the president deflecting, or is he right in his position?
Mr. Questioner, listen to what I am saying. Which constitution is he referring us to? If he's deceiving others, he can't deceive me. And if he's deceiving himself, let him deceive us. The constitution will say it is not our own. The constitution will say it's obnoxious. The constitution will say it's loaded against the South. The constitution will say it contains all the iniquities we don't want. The constitution will say it's not contained in the constitution as independence. And I made specific reference to the fact that if you don't know what is federalism, if you don't know what is functioning, go back to independent constitution agreed to by Savdana Osokoto, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, at independence. He has not replied me. I challenge Adesina and Garba Shehu to say this is what I asked you to go to. And I asked the question, why is he afraid to go back to that constitution? And I put the question again. Is he more Fulani than Savdana? Is he better educated than Savdana? And if there's any flaw in that constitution, why does he call us? Oh no, I don't want this. Time has passed this one. Let us remove this. You now ask us to amend the constitution we don't know. You don't ask us to amend the constitution we had an independence. We are no fools. Please let us all join together to tell him that is not the question. It's just drawing wool against our eyes. We refuse to. We can see. Those of us who knew the beginning of this country, we know what we worked for and what we had before the military incursion. You cannot all the shenanigans of the Asura. It's not acceptable to me and to people who know it.
All right, Chief. My question earlier was, yes, you had submitted a proposal, a demand to the president. My question to you was, the president has said it's not his responsibility to change constitution. It's the National Assembly. Is the president right to take that position? Is he correct?
Very wrong. Very wrong. What the National Assembly is referring not to? Is this the National Assembly? We say no, we don't know about it. How did the National Assembly come into?
But Padibanjo, writing an entirely new constitution seems to Nigerians or to some people as a very long process, and we're looking at, in the interim, is it not better to, amend some of the flaws, the perceived flaws in the constitution which you're talking about, and then work with that first while we also think of how to, go about getting an entirely brand new constitution?
What is wrong in getting a brand new constitution?
The time it will take to get that done, the referendum that is required, and all of that. Is it
not by decree? Oh, no. Don't talk to people who don't know the issue. When you say, how is it done? The one that we are complaining about, how was it made? If you know we want peace and we have told you what is wrong, we say, well, let us have a dialogue. And let us agree on what to, and then pass an executive order. To ask us to go through the gerrymandering of the constitution, you loaded against anybody trying to amend it. It's not workable. We are not fools. We're asking us to go through the constitution we say we don't know anything about. The constitution we say is loaded against the masses, against the section of the country.
All right, Chief.
Is that logical?